Hey SMC, we're the Stearns family. I am Pete.
I'm Brittany.
What's your name, bud?
I'm Shepard.
And
who's
who's
this?
this?
That's Smith.
Smith. What's his name?
Smith.
This
And that is Archer.
Archer.
How old are you guys?
I'm 0 and no, I'm at 8 and 0.
Okay.
8 and 0.
We're going to redo this one. Hey, Shepard, remember, if we do a good job, we get a lollipop, okay? How old are you guys?
4 and 1.
There you go. Awesome. Are you excited about North Carolina?
Yeah, the zoo.
You're excited about the zoo in North Carolina?
Yeah. What do
And
you?
I'm excited to play with Miriam
Your cousin Miriam. Yeah, you're excited to play with her? Because where does she live?
in North Carolina.
In North Carolina. That's right.
What do
But
you?
she's not in the down one, only the up one.
Yep, she's not in the down one. That's South Carolina. She's in the up one.
She's in the up one,
Yeah, North Carolina.
North Carolina.
That's right.
What are you excited about?
Oh, yeah. Are you excited about the zoo, Archer?
What's that?
With
to do?
animals. With some wolves and elephants and some monkeys.
Okay, do you want to go get your lollipop?
You want to go get your lollipop?
Go get it from Mr.
We'll see you in a little bit.
Go
All
get
right.
your lollipop.
Follow
from
your
Mr.
brother,
Rob.
bud. Well, you just met our kids, and they, as you saw, are filled with energy and definitely keep us busy and running around. But I think, you know, one of my favorite parts of being a dad has been just the excuse to kind of do those fun things that I've always loved doing, to have that creative way of seeing the world and kind of rekindle some of that childhood imagination. So we as a family just love adventuring together and doing things together.
Taking the boys on adventures, finding new parks and forest preserves in the area. They love getting muddy and building forts and
pretending to be dinosaurs.
pretending to be dinosaurs.
We spent a lot of time just playing around and being a silly family. And
Pete and I have been married for 9 years now, about 9 years. We met at Wheaton College, and we're both freshmen at the same time, and we're on...
I was a soccer fan. She was a soccer player.
Yeah, I think he was pretty determined to date a soccer girl, so...
I feel like in college, both of our just passion for investing in the local church, and specifically with youth and students, really drew us together too, and became kind of the glue for our relationship.
The thing that I am most excited about entering into the St. Mark's community is the people there. When we were there the other week, I just got such a sense of the Lord's presence and just really authentic people, and that just got me really excited. I feel like everyone we crossed paths with was just genuinely excited about ministry, excited about what the Lord was doing at St. Mark's, and you know, that's something that you want to be a part of, and so that was something that really got me excited. Yeah.
And I think, like, to a T, every person we met just was so vulnerable and willing to share their stories, and not just the highlights of their stories, but also some of the challenges in their stories. And I think that just drew us in kind of a fun way, is just to hear, you know, this is a church and a community that doesn't just pay lip service to their mission and their values, but instead is a place that truly leans into it and is excited about being present to their community and making Jesus famous in their neighborhoods. And it was just so fun to see the values that the church has placed on young families and kids, and we got to explore that kind of 936 wing there, and just imagine our boys growing up there alongside just other kids in the church and incredible volunteers that are just pouring into these little ones, and then you know, stepping into the youth center and seeing just the emphasis that's been placed on developing this generation within the church, not only for impact later, but impact right now.
And I think we're both excited about just how outward focused St. Mark's is, and just really sharing the love of God to their community and the people around them. That's something that we love to be a part of, and we really saw that as the heart of St. Mark's, and so we're excited to be a part of that outward missional living.
I will say I'm a little bit worried about my health because having those cinnamon rolls available every single morning to me is probably not going to do...
I told Pete he might gain some pounds his first year there at the cinnamon rolls.
So I'm going to have to stay disciplined there, and it'll be every other week maybe. Yeah, so it's been a wild journey the last 6 months for us. I think Brittany has mentioned it, and I've certainly felt God stirring in us in the past few years. We have been so thankful for Christ Church and the incredible community that surrounds us, but at the same time, it's been evident pretty regularly that God is calling our family to a new adventure. And I remember this past spring in April, Jay, who was the headhunter, reached out to me and said, Pete, we've got this awesome church. It's called St. Mark's. They align with you on value and vision, and they're outward focused, and they're just really serious about investing in their community and in their leaders and families. And I just think that this has you written all over it. I want you to consider it. I'm going to warn you, though, it's not any of the little kind of box that you've placed around what you would consider, but I really want you to trust me on this and consider it. And Brittany and I talked about it briefly. Pretty quickly afterwards, I got back to him to let him know that we weren't interested in pursuing that, and it kind of stopped there. And so 4 months later, so now we're in July, and in my prayer time that morning, I was praying and just felt this overwhelming sense of regret that I had been too quick to close the door on what God might have for us. And I remember praying in that time, God, I promise whatever comes next, I will be faithful in at least exploring it and asking what you might have for us there. And I kid you not, an hour later, I get an email from Jay saying, Pete, I really want you to consider jumping in with St. Mark's. And it just was so clear that God was saying that this is the opportunity. And while you weren't faithful at the beginning, God is faithful and continues to paint that picture. And so we were kind of drawn back into the process. And afterwards, Brittany and I were talking, and I was chatting with my parents on the phone about it. And I just expressed this this sense of fear because it was starting to feel real. It was one thing to say, like, God, I'll explore something. It was another thing when it was, okay, this may actually happen here. And I remember, about a month later when Joanne called me during bedtime routine and let me know that St. Mark's was going to offer the invitation to come and step into this call. And it was just this fun moment of being able to share in our joy and relief on the phone. But then when we hung up, I went and got into bed with Shepard. He said, Dad, come, for cuddle time. And so I lay down in the bed with him and just overwhelmed, began crying and laying in bed, tears kind of rolling down my face. And I asked Shepard if he would do a prayer time with me, and he said yes. And so I turned on that audio devotional for the day. And the verse in that night, in that moment, was Isaiah 41, verse 13. For I am the Lord your God, who takes hold of your right hand and says to you, do not fear, I will help you. And I feel I even get choked up now because it was just such a reminder that this isn't about our journey, that this is about what God is doing. And that even in this moment where, from a perspective of a career and a job and a move and all these things, just everything is overwhelming, and it's a leap of faith and a challenge and a change. But at the same time, God using those moments to remind me, I'm in this and I'm moving. And so, I recognize that St. Mark's is probably feeling a lot of those same things. You're coming out of just a remarkable legacy of of a pastor that has walked with the church for 45 years, and not only walked with the church, but done so just in incredible fashion, and has raised up this community that makes an impact in the world, makes an impact in their neighborhoods, and this is a big change. And again, I hope that verse is just a reminder that if God is walking alongside us, then surely God is walking alongside a church that has been so faithful to his call and his mission in this world, that God takes us by the right hand, that we have nothing to be afraid of because he is there to help us.
Yeah, and I think that's been such a source of peace for me as well. People keep asking, how am I feeling? How am I doing? And I just feel like just the way that this process has unfolded and the way that the Lord has been so faithful every step of the way, I think that's just been such a security, knowing that he's gone before us and God's hand is in this. And we can't wait to meet more of you, and we can't wait for what the Lord has in store at St. Mark's.